Good day, amigos interneto. My name is Eric Strauss, and I'm your friendly neighborhood host of Talking with Famous People. You may remember me from such internet experiences as yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. You may anticipate me in such internet experiences as the premiere that's occurring in an hour and 10 minutes of a video that I'm excited to see because I didn't edit it or do anything to it. I sent it to Octavia Silva Raw, and who knows what she did. Who knows what they did. Octavia Silva's just going to have to be okay with being outed as a girl because I'm never going to remember not to call her she. It's impossible. It's like, when I talk to her, she's obviously like, a young woman. There's just not any disputing that. So it's really hard for me to remember not to call her she, Yes, my thesis here is that there are three kinds of truths on the internet: the wise, the wily, and the wrong. I suspect Grass Eater was indeed at one point lawnmower. But I got a little clue. Look, kind of cue you in on something there, Grass Eater. A lawnmower doesn't actually eat the grass. It just cuts it. I don't know if you knew that or not. It suggests that you misunderstand the nature of lawnmowers. Okay? Look, as an expert in the lawn mowing field, I'm an expert lawnmower. Okay? From now on, I can just talk in California accent. I enjoy watching, even though it's like one joke repeated over and over and over again. I enjoy watching the Californians simply because I'm a Californian and people actually do talk like that. First, I got to 101, and they're going to go bust and get off on that, right? People actually do talk like that. Exactly right. Kimberly had a bit of that in her talking too. Like, yeah. She'd be like she and her sister would talk like that. When they talk to each other, they'd sort of like get in this California accent thing going. Before you know it, their conversations were all like, just go. What are you doing here? It's not Valley Girl talk exactly. It's California talk. It's like, one of the big jokes in the Saturday Night Lives of the Californians, which is absolutely 100% true, is you cannot, especially in LA. This is actually a Los Angeles thing. This is not a California thing. This is a Los Angeles thing. You cannot have a conversation with somebody else in Los Angeles without discussing the route you took to go someplace. What are you doing here? You came all the way over to the west side this time of day? I know. I took the 134, and then I got off on the 2. I actually went service streets down through downtown, and then I got back onto the 101, and then I came over this way, and then instead of taking the 405, I got off at Hollywood Bowl, and then I just came over the hill like that. That is a good way to go. That's very much an actual conversation you will have in Los Angeles every time you go anywhere. It seems like people talk about how they got there. Yeah, I just came right down on 605. It was easy. I just went right down on 605 back PL Dodge. One thing that's still, Southern California is different than Northern California. The Northern California accent's a little bit more like, Mark, listen, Mark, come over here, there. I've got an artichoke I want you to look at. Northern California is more like that. I lived in Northern California in college. What are your thoughts on the pseudo exodus happening out there? I mean, it's going to shit. The state's going to shit. Right. I was gonna get up Rosemead, but then I just figured, fuck it, I'll get all the way to 710. But when I got there, I realized it only goes from the 60 to 10. It's not even very far. They do sound similar. The difference is Northern California is more like this. It's more like grumpy sounding. So it's like, Mark the mew. It's got more of that sound to it. The Southern California is more like and the Northern California is more like oh. Hi, beauty pants.
Hi, handsome pants. Oh, jeez. I almost feel like they should see my face right now because I was not expecting you. Hi. I'm giving myself facial treatment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
There's a huge gang war between Northern Hispanic groups and Southern. Well, my take on gang wars. As long as I don't get any civilians in the crossfire, I'm at it.
Hey, grass eater.
So, I mean, there's no doubt that California is being overrun by homelessness, but that was the case before COVID. I think the reason for it is simply that, by and large, the weather's nice in California. North Dakota's probably a bad place to be homeless. You might be able to pull it off. You might be able to pull off homelessness in North Dakota in the summer, but you're not going to be able to pull it off in the winter. So I'd say the last 10 years, homelessness has gotten terrible. And, I have my position on it, which is really the Supreme Court made a poor decision. But I'm not. But at the same time, I'm kind of sympathetic to the decision as well. I mean, Gen X still says it's not the working class being displaced by rising property values and rent. To be honest, I kind of think it's perceivers being displaced by the increasingly TE demands of the world. It's like it's difficult to sustain a life and a family and all that kind of stuff as a intuitive perceiver. those are matters that you're not ideally dealing with, you know? I don't like to deal with the mundane. If you're like me and you don't have particularly good earning potential, then it just takes a bad month or two and all of a sudden you're shit out of luck. You know, you don't have a house. And the thing is, it's like once you get displaced, then it's hard to get yourself back into housing. It's hard to sustain a job. Get a sustained job, you don't have housing. So, you know, the reasons for increased homelessness are complicated, but I would say that one of the big reasons is there's not an alternative life to live, really, you know? Before the modern age, when there were unexplored lands and sort of empty spaces in the world, you could do that, Justin Salisbury. You could go find your own Walden Woods and remove yourself from society effectively. Well, now even that process is largely structured. You know, there's campgrounds, and you're not supposed to camp where there's not campgrounds, and everything's either national forest or state forest or private property. And to get someplace where you genuinely have wildness and could go and try to subsist on your own or whatever, homestead, quote unquote, you'd have to go deep into the Canadian boreal forest, and even then it would probably be illegal, and or down to like Amazon jungle or something. So, you know, there's no more place for the ESFPs to go run off and explore and die in the process. You know, probably the reason why there's so many ESFPs in the world is because they used to just all go die on adventures and die in war and die in, you know, and now they don't.
This is true. That's a great, like, comparison right there.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the other thing is this. Those kind of things sound appealing, but the reality is we are all extraordinarily softened and addicted to the multiple conveniences and pleasantries of modern life. It sounds appealing to go out there and, you know, turn over a new leaf and live life more authentically, you know, to go on a 2-week-long backpacking adventure or a month-long backpacking adventure where all the meaning is gone. You know, it's like, get rid of all these words, get rid of all these symbols, and let's just get out there with the dirt and the rocks and the animals and meow. Well, this is how that would actually play out. A couple of days in, you'd be like, this is fucking miserable. And then, like, a week in, you start to find your groove a bit. And by the end of this trip, you'd be like, that was really significant in my life in some fashion. That was culture shock. And you may find by the end of that couple of weeks that you've acclimated to this world of movement and self-care and feeding yourself and not really anything else. But you may find that you're just absolutely desperate to get back to civilization. So most of the things that we care about and do are predicated on civilization existing. But there are people like, you know, take somebody like Marty. His kind of passionate, irrepressible certainty and, you know, like conviction about stuff that is nonsense, it's very useful when you're fighting a war or going out to have, you know, if you're going to go on Naked and Afraid, who are the best competitors for Naked and Afraid? ESFPs. ESFPs are perfect for Naked and Afraid. Mm-hmm. Because, and, you know, it's like, I love that show. And when we watched that, there was this one episode where they had Naked and Afraid, like, experts or whatever, Like people had already won regular Naked and Afraid, and then they went on to like Super Naked and Afraid. And they had this bearded dude and this chick, and I think they were both ESFPs. Maybe one of them was an ISFP, but man, did they kill it! It's like you hear them going, "Oof, this is cold." The woman's standing barefoot up to her knees in ice water, like hauling fish out of the river or something, and you hear from her, "This is kind of cold." It's like, are you kidding me? I'd be weeping on the ground at that point. I'd be just like, take me home, take me home. I hate this. I'm naked and it's cold outside.
Seriously. You know the most impressive one that we watched though was the dude who went in it alone.
Right, that ESTJ.
Yeah, man.
There was this one ESTJ dude. Mm-hmm. What happened was, so the show started with 2 people on this island. The chick's original dude like quit right away, so then she was alone for like a week, and the show's producers decided, look, this isn't fair. Since her partner left so right away, let's bring in another partner for her. And so they brought in this dude, but by the time they brought him in, she was done. She'd been there all by herself for like a week, and so she was like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Yeah, she was like,
I can't take this anymore. And she's lost all of her mental fortitude because she'd been isolated. And so then, with the guy, now he's here, she leaves, and so he's got 2 weeks to go. And man, did he ESTJ the shit out of that. It was very impressive. Very impressive.
Episode.
Yeah, that was
such a great episode because we were on like the edge of our seats. We're like, wait, is she gonna leave? She just got there. Like,
and then he's standing there. He's standing there like under a leaf, pouring rain. He's being like, doesn't matter. This is my plan. I'm gonna fall through on it. And this, it's just like I can handle this. His excellent SI skills were amazing. I like Les Stroud, the Survivor Man, as well. Probably the best TV survivalist, super grounded, not an idiot, knowledgeable, doesn't take 2 risks. When he catches something, Joe Wisdom, you really celebrate. When he catches a fish or snares a mouse or something to eat, you really celebrate because he's not bullshitting. Unlike what's his name, Bear Grylls, who like sets up all that shit. Yeah, Les Stroud does not set up any of his shit. No bullshit. He's the best. No, I agree.
He is the best. He does research the area beforehand and speak with experts on the land so that he can prepare himself. But other than that, it's all him.
Yeah, he carries the cameras. He does everything himself.
Yeah, he does the editing even.
Yeah, Bear Grylls' whole trick is let me drink some pee. Right. I know. Well, maybe I could drink pee again. There's always a good reason to drink pee. Yeah, I watched most of those Survivor Mans. In fact, I bought a couple seasons of Survivor Man on YouTube to rewatch them.
Good show.
Yeah, he is famously what I would call, Joe Wisdom, my favorite television ISTJ.
Mine too.
Well, Horse Mumbler, you're right about that. Horse Mumbler says land is still plentiful and cheap throughout much of the United States. I can go north and get 40 acres of choice ranch land for less money than my low-cost condo. It's skill and will that are in short supply. Okay, I agree with you. In other words, in the olden days, everything that people did was harder. And there was more time that people directed towards maintaining basics, food, shelter, clothes, stuff like that. And, even well-off people, the women learned how to sew and cook because there was no fast food, And even like a wealthy property owner probably knew how to do most of the tasks on his land. So it's like Thomas Jefferson he had slaves, but he also knew how to do all the work himself. And so the thing is, that may have changed later on, but early in the country, that was the case. And it made sense then if you said, okay, well, we're going to have a Homestead Act, and you have to go build on the property and work the land for this long and invest this much of your energy into it, and then it becomes yours. People would have no idea. It would be such a, I mean, the thing is, we also live in a time of building codes, right? Mm. How many of those homesteaders' homes do you think would have passed our current building codes? Probably none of them. Winston's mom subscribed to Playboy to read the articles. Playboy. There was a time period when Playboy, like other big magazines, made sure that it had articles by famous writers and like cutting edge cultural writers and stuff. And so they actually did at a time have excellent articles in there.
It became a joke though because it seemed out of place. It was like people, that would be the excuse, like, oh yeah, but they have really good articles in there. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with that is if you're trying to position it as what they were trying to do is saying, look, looking at naked chicks is just part of the gentleman's routine. He invests in stocks, reads articles on literature, and looks at naked chicks.
Yeah.
That's just, smokes a cigar, and it's just all part of the gentleman's day. No. Well, there's nothing gentlemanly about looking at porn. You just can't, no matter how well you position it in a museum of non-porn, it still stands out as porn.
Yeah.
You were asked if you wanted to do a Photoshop with Playboy?
Really?
Or Victoria's Secret?
Was his mom?
No, she's kidding. She's joking. She says. It was Curious Kyra who said that, not Winston's mom. Winston's mom, I have the episode of Playboy where she was the centerfold in it.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
See, I just feel like,
Winston's mom is standing there with her arms crossed like this, looking angry. You can only see one nipple through the whole thing because her elbow's up a little bit. She's gone down in history as
that's pretty sexy though.
The least cooperative Playboy model in history.
I know it was a joke, but the thing is that a lot of everyday girls actually really do pose for Maxim and Playboy.
Well, if you're a famous chick, if you're a chick who gets famous for something and you're cute, it used to be the Playboy would say, "Hey, you want to take naked pictures of you?"
Totally. Totally.
And it would be like a big deal if they said yes. Like one of the Miss Americas lost her crown because she posed for Playboy.
That's right. That was a big deal.
So does Playboy magazine even exist anymore?
I don't think so.
It was Hugh Hefner's baby, so.
It's kind of died. So is Victoria's Secret.
I kind of feel sad for Hugh Hefner because it's like, what do you do when you reach my age and you've built this empire of a 20 or 30 something's lifestyle? It's like
you make a TV show.
I guess you make a TV show.
Because he was barely in it, but then you got to see like the girls.
The interesting thing also though is he was oddly feminist. Like he tended to hire women to be executives in his business and stuff.
Yeah, he was.
He's got to be ESTP or maybe ESFP, but I think ESTP. Because that's the sort of contradiction that ESTPs are totally fine with, Well, yeah, I mean, she's a hot, big-titted slut, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have a good head on her shoulders.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's true.
And, look, I never would want to, it was never my dream to walk up to his house and be like, hey, can I live here? But he did house a lot of the people who posed for him. So that's like an ESTP thing.
Yeah, it's also like indicates a sort of countervaluing of TE, like no sense of how this impacts their life plan.
Yeah, like never gonna make that life plan.
Or like what they're gonna do when they move out.
No,
right?
you got there and
here's the car you brought with you. Remember that movie we saw?
Oh yeah, so that's what that movie the bunny.
I forget what it was called.
Yeah,
but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a great because it was true. It was known that like you were there, you would pose naked at one point for the magazine. You were allowed to live there, but once you hit like a certain age,
like or 27 or 28,
yeah,
that's like 50 in bunny years. 26. Yeah, it's depressing. It's like you're taking in people who really need to have some sort of need to be putting some sort of energy into a life plan of some sort, and you're removing them from the life plan process for 6 years and then putting them back where they're well behind other people in their life planning. So that's kind of slimy, I guess. But the fact is, he may well have incorporated some, like, they may well have been able to use their connections thereafter to accomplish things. Who knows? Maybe they found husbands while they were there or something. I don't know.
In my opinion, if you were smart, you'd go, you would do Playboy, and you'd make the money from Playboy, stay there, and that, like, it was supposed to be like that. I think it was supposed to set up, hot young chicks to be able to go out in the world with some money if they didn't have it. But I mean, you get some. It's a very difficult transition to make from, kind of even having some celebrity status for a little while.
Here's the thing: when you say ESPs are comfortable with TE contradictions, I think the bottom line is all action types are uncomfortable with long-term plans.
Are you an action type?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't like to think about, well, but I need to consider 6 years from now. What? I do? If I'm making plans that involve 6 years from now, I'm crazy. I there's no way I'm gonna follow through on that plan.
Yeah.
So I'm just basically killing time for another 45 minutes or 40 minutes as I'm excited and watching the video that Octavia Silva edited.
Sweet, I can't wait to see it.
Well, Horse Mumbler, I'm wondering if Cloud meant straight razor. It makes a lot more sense to use a brush with a straight razor than with a safety razor. Are you sure you didn't mean straight razor, Cloud? I really like straight razors too. It's like, I had a couple in Laverne, but you got to keep them sharp or else they cease to be effective. The weird thing is they're not difficult to use. They really aren't, and you're really not much more likely to cut yourself with a straight razor than you are with a safety razor. You really aren't. There used to be. I'm surprised if they all went out of business, but there used to be there's two barbershops in Temple City. One is the Mexican barbershop, which is where I always went because they're fast, no chit chat. It's like single guy in line at the store. I have cash. I don't want to say anything to you. Just I'm gonna give you my money. You're gonna give me my product, and that's it. And there doesn't need to be any talking. It's like I really love the lady at the gas station because she has the ideal understanding of a commercial exchange. Yeah, she recognizes me, so I walk in. I don't have to say a word. She takes down a pack of cigarettes. I pay for it. She gives me her receipt. I walk out. Not a single word has been exchanged between us. That is a good exchange.
She's like your merchant soulmate.
Yeah. Well, in fact, she asked me one time to confirm that I always get the same kind of cigarettes so that I wouldn't have to say it anymore. That's being proactive too, to make sure I don't have to talk at all.
She doesn't have to talk either.
And she doesn't have to talk at all either, you know? That's an excellent commercial exchange. I don't like to bother cashiers. I think cashiering in general, I think of it as everyone's job is to get up to and away from the cashier as fast as possible, because otherwise you're just contributing to a line. I hate people who chit chat with cashiers.
Thank you.
It's different if they're not in that capacity. I do like to talk to strangers in public. That's true. But not cashiers, because I've been in line behind Talkie Lady before, and I'm just like, will you shut the fuck up and complete your transaction, please?
You know, when I worked at Trader Joe's, they have a system where you are for the day, for your shift, you have multiple positions during the day. So I would go from stocking shelves to cashier. And with Maine, no. I did not like people talking to me because it's easy to make a mistake.
Right. You're in the middle going like, hey, this goes that, and someone goes, excuse me, why doesn't it in there, crisps?
Or they're talking about how, I just love this product, you know, and you see they have like 20 of it. It's just, I'm like, yes, I see that.
Justin, I actually think, or I thought for a while she was an ISFJ because of the time that I saw her sweeping outside. There was one time, obviously, it's like her replacement had come in and her time on shift wasn't over or something. So they said, go sweep up outside. And watching her sweep was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And I was walking back to the car, sorry, and she was going like, Like she had no idea how to sweep at all. But I actually think maybe she's an ISTJ since she doesn't seem at all interested in any social engagement with people. So maybe she is an ISTJ. She's an SI Dom, I think. She just has this SI Dom vibe about her. Whereas like the other lady at the cashier there, she's more like,
I love how you describe her.
Oh, yeah, she's like a chola lady, and it's like she looks at everybody who comes to the window with suspicion until she determines that you're all business. Then she accepts you without anything. So she sees me and her facial expression with everybody who comes to the window switches to, oh, okay, I know what you want. You're fine.
There's got to be someone around there who gets mans the fort. Shit long nails.
Marty Glenn, you don't need to fear me. Lamau, lamau, lamau. Did you enjoy that video? I enjoyed that video. I thought it came out good. So, Rachel, I want to inform you also. We got in trouble, or actually, you got in a little more trouble than me, really. You aren't tending the washing machine adequately. So,
Not?
No. Oh, no.
What did I do?
For example, you need to leave the door cracked on the washing machine.
Shit.
Or else it'll start to smell. And also, when there's like gunk gathering down at the bottom, you really need to clean that out. Okay?
Wait, what gunk?
There's like lint and stuff at the bottom.
Oh, the lint thing, I fucking knew it. I knew it. I'm like, I'm not going to clean it up right now. I'm going to do it tomorrow because I have more laundry to do. Thank you for the message.
Yeah, my dad came out. The first thing he said is, now, I know it seems like all I do is complain. Go on.
I don't mean to cause him.
Rachel, remember, we can't be perfect enough to avoid these things. Okay.
True. You're right.
What was it? Last time I got busted for? Oh, right. I got busted when he came back because I had left in the kitchen. There's this one light that has 3, 2, or 1. If you put it on 1, it's very dim. And I leave that on at night as the only light, because that way if I go in the kitchen or go out that way, then there's not completely dark, you know? So I got busted for leaving that light on. I'd gone out of my way to make sure that every other light in the house was off. I turned the air conditioning off. The air conditioning wasn't on. He hates it when he comes home from a trip or whatever, and we're not inside and the air conditioning's on. So I always make sure to turn that off. You know, I go out of my way to try to attend to every little thing that Dad might fuss about. But even so, like last time, there were some dishes that we put in that we didn't rinse adequately prior to putting them in the dishwasher. It's because we made beans.
Right, which it was beans and sausage and bread, so it was thick.
And the ridiculous thing about this is if you let it, it can drive you apart. Because my first thought is, when my dad said about the didn't wash the dishes enough, God damn that Rachel. That's the first thing I thought.
Really?
I'm like, she must have done that. Because I know I washed mine enough. Now you're like, I washed mine enough. Of course, the problem is it's neither of us. It's my dad's fucking just he's in a mood where he wants to find something to complain about, and he will. It doesn't matter. It could be the most minor thing in the world, and he'll start with, I don't want to nitpick, but, and then he'll proceed to pick at what can only possibly be described as a nit.
If I didn't live around ESTJs, I think I would cry. Because, it's like, I'm trying. I don't know, as an idealist, I want things to be done well.
ESTJs, you only get back to zero. There are no positive points with ESTJs. You're doing it wrong, or you're not you need there's no need for comment.
No.
Right?
No.
You're doing it wrong, or there's no need for comment is the ESTJ's central thesis, which means, in other words, doing it right is the bare minimum acceptable.
And right is his way.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, of course, being an ESTJ, his way probably is right. So, for example, it is the case that we should rinse the dishes before we put them in the washing machine or the dishwasher. And it is the case that because my dad didn't listen to me and he got a front door washing machine instead of a top door washing machine, that we have this fucking problem with it. Of course, it's my fault because I didn't tell him that until after he went shopping. So that was dumb of me. So it's not really his fault.
Washing machine?
As soon as he was gone to go shopping before I had a chance to even tell him, get a top loader. But the funny thing is, I must have mentioned it at some point before we went, because I got one of those rare things that you get when you're right and the ESTJ is wrong about something later on. It's like, you were right, I should have got a top loader. This is,
I can't even imagine, for him doing it, having to bend over. Sometimes I have to squat to, get the stuff.
Well, the problem is, of course, our washer and dryer are behind these doors that, fold open and close, right? So in order to leave the door open inside, then we had to loosen the folding doors a bit. It's just a big pain in the ass. My dad's ex-military ESTJ. Didn't make my childhood easy. The funny thing is, my dad is really a big softie. He really is.
He really is.
But at the same time, if you think about making your childhood easy, no matter how much of a big softie he is, my childhood was full of tasks I had to do. I spent so much time. My parents had rental properties, and they didn't have a property manager. We were the property managers, which meant I spent so much time going to properties to fix this or repaint that or clean up this or trim those bushes or whatever. And it's like, I hated it. Oh, I hated it.
Oh
It's like Saturday morning, it'd be 7 a.m. I was like, fuck off. But it was good for me, frankly. I mean, note that it didn't work. Note that it didn't work. I did not develop self-discipline. I did not learn to work hard and be responsible. It did not work. I'm still me despite my dad's best efforts.
Well, no one is an EST. There's no one that can do it the ESTG way except for an ESTJ.
Well, I mean, I think my dad would have been thrilled to have Cameron as a son.
Oh, well, yeah. It sounds like Cameron would have loved to have
David Strauss as a father, too.
Yeah.
ISTJ friend Cameron, he and my dad get along like gangbusters.
They even have a COVID handshake. They do the elbow thing. It's so cute.
Verily indeed. Verily methinks. Hi, Sky Gear. Hey, I thought you were only going to come every 6 months from now on. You were here yesterday. We've got 30 minutes left before the exciting premiere of Rachel and Eric Explain TI and FE video.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Zounds. You know what zounds means?
No.
An unbusy soldier is a potential danger. Right. Well, my dad likes to use the expression police your area, which I think is a great expression.
I did not police my area yesterday.
You did not police your area adequately.
I didn't. No. And I knew I didn't either because I was so tired yesterday.
I know. Both of us were in a mood.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I was just
So the anime Blue Exorcist is all about Satan and the devil and this fun stuff. And I wonder what if Horse Mumbler, not Horse Mumbler, I wonder if Lawnmower would think it wicked because of its involvement of demon stuff and devils and stuff, or good because it opposes those things, or wicked because it allows some ambivalence towards them as characters with some sort of humanity to them. Regardless, it's an interesting combination of Catholicism and Japanese traditions of spirituality. Japanese have all these God of the forest, demon of the forest things, but this Blue Exorcist show is all about Catholicism. And the center of the Knights of the True Cross is in the Vatican, and the Pope's the character in it. It's on Crunchyroll. You can watch it with commercials on Crunchyroll. I went ahead and paid the $10 for Crunchyroll to subscribe, so I don't have to watch any commercials. There's only 25 episodes of it too, which is the right amount of episodes. The thing is, usually with any kind of anime show, I'm very sad when I run out of episodes. But Blue Exorcist is so rich and it's there is a second season of Kyoto, but the first season is an entire story arc. So it's not like the first season ends on a cliffhanger, right? The first season is basically like a novel rendered into 25 episodes. And it is a complete work in and of itself. There may be additional works of Blue Exorcist, which there are. There's the Kyoto arc, which we're going to probably watch next. But the original Blue Exorcist stands alone as a 25 episode story arc, and quite a good one. The thing is, yeah, well, that's what this one does, Justin. And it's like at the end of the 25th episode, I was ready for it to, like, I was glad that it finished, and I felt so satisfied.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good ending.
The other thing I would note about it is it uses a lot of gratuitous boob bouncing in it, and yet somehow it's fine. It's like I never feel like the female characters aren't being given their due or anything, you know?
Their personalities are so strong that, like,
right.
It's not
like the most big titted girl, the girl whose shirt keeps getting smaller and smaller through the fights, who starts off with a bikini and then like burns away like everything except a little bit that covers her nipples.
Yeah, really.
But she's such the badass of the whole show, you know. She's such a beast that it's more like an empowerment thing. It's like, I'll wear what the fuck I want. Yeah, I'm a Catholic exorcist, but I wear Daisy Dukes and a bikini top. Meanwhile, there's this other big titted girl on the show who's the plant girl. I forget what her name is, but she's like got a big crush on Ren. And it's like for the first part of the show, she's wearing this cover-up kimono that you can't see what she looks like. And then one day when she starts doing her training more and has to know she's going to have to be more physically active, like run after things and stuff, she decides to change into a school uniform. And she shows up and the boys are all like, because she's got big old boobs on her, you know. They use that very effectively in ways that are like spice to the stew that work great and that don't clash, even though you don't normally want sexiness in your adventure, right? And are gratuitous but don't feel gratuitous. And yeah, probably. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they draw them naked too. If I could draw those chicks, I definitely wouldn't draw them with clothes on. I mean, it seems like an extra layer of work, right? Because as far as I understand, to draw a character, first you have to draw their skeleton, then their skin on top of that, and then their clothes on top of that, right? Isn't that how it works? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm not much of a drawer myself. So, Utter Self, what I sent you was a couple of takes of me sort of freestyling, experimenting with vocal ideas. The notion being maybe you can find a couple of little loops in there that are worth keeping. Not that you should. I mean, you know, it's saying make editorial decisions. Normally I would not have sent you random raw shit like that, but I thought we'd see how that plays out. I don't know. Etymology is your friend? Is it? Is it really?
You're so smart. I don't even know what.
If etymology really is my friend, Horseman, tell me this. What's the etymology of etymology?
That's a smart question.
Where did that word come from? Or is it a chicken and egg question? How can words have had etymologies prior to the word etymology? I'm a friend to truth, then you're a friend to me. Do you want to
Friends with Steve?
P?
P? Oh yeah, friends with
If you're
P.
friends with P, it's just P.
Yeah, P. That's right. Yeah, P.
If you're friends with P, then you're friends with me. Is race still real? Oh, yeah. It's the realest thing there ever was. That's how we determine which lives matter.
Oh my God, you put it together.
Yeah. Hey, now I finally figured out what race is for. It's how we determine which lives matter. Right? Oh,
Bye,
wait.
Levi
That's dumb.
Samuels. There it goes, guys. Get ready for a lot of coughs.
If you've never checked out the videos on Merriam-Webster's site, they're like word porn. That sounds good. Ooh, yeah. There was a podcast that I used to like about words and stuff. Probably still exists. Word Nerds, I believe it was called. The Word Nerds podcast. It was all about etymology, where this word came from, how it's used, what it means. Let me see if I can find it. Word Nerds podcast. Looks like they haven't really done anything since 2006. Yeah, they stopped in 2006, and in 2018 they put another post. Because your WordPress site was badly infected with malware sometime in 2010 or after. Oh, look. They've got a link to my old podcast review podcast, Box Monitor, which I'm sure is also a broken link.
Aww.
Yeah, that's funny. Because we reviewed their podcast.
That's so cool.
Interesting. So, sorry, you won't get to see anything about them because they're defunct. Uh-oh. Here come the Scots.
The Scots have arisen.
Yeah.
Arose.
Now, listen up, Scottish people. In 17 regular minutes, I believe that's 22 Scottish minutes, we're going to begin a premiere, so this isn't going to persist for that long, okay? I want to end this before the premiere of the video.
So stick around for that video.
A little known fact, a Scottish minute is 15 seconds longer than a regular minute.
Is that what like God gave them after having them kill off so many of each other?
Well, it's to give them more time to adjust their kilts when sitting down or standing up.
Oh, wow, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. So they don't
That
embarrass
extra
themselves
wear,
in polite company.
Do Japanese schoolgirls get the same treatment?
No. Their minutes are 15 seconds shorter because Japanese people are pervs.
But it's truth.
They seem like harmless pervs, though. You know, it's like Japanese pervs. You don't worry that they're gonna hurt somebody. You just kind of go.
Oh, that was weird.
If you're a woman on a train in Japan and you see a Japanese man staring at you oddly, you know he probably wants you to put him in a diaper and feed him from a bottle.
Yeah.
For some reason. And you go, weird, but remarkably unthreatening.
I think Japanese schoolgirls are a fetish.
Japanese schoolgirl, it mostly means something related to pornography. It only secondarily actually means schoolgirls in Japan.
Yeah.
What MBTI type is Willy Wonka?
ENFP? ENFP?
I mean, do you think... I don't think ENTP because...
The actual one from 1971?
Right. Well, I mean, think
I
how
think
how emotionally he reacts to everything, or
Yeah, you're right.
how like he's got such a clear conviction, like attachment to
Yeah.
certain things.
That last scene where he yells at Charlie, I fucking hated that. That would be an ENFP. My
Right.
dad's yelled at me like that
Well,
before.
okay, so Gene Wilder says that he decided how he wanted the first entrance to go in the when he walks up to the gate and he's limping, and then he like drops his cane and he does a somersault and pops up and everybody cheers. And his explanation of it was the reason he wanted the scene to be done like that is because once he successfully did that, then the audience would never trust him again for the rest of the movie. The thing is, ENTPs are not comfortable with, like the great joke in BoJack Horseman, right, where you tell the first half of the joke, and then there's no punchline apparently, and they go, "That's not a joke, that's a story." And then later on, you say, "Can I tell you a joke again?" And they go, they're going to reference the fact that earlier you said you were going to tell a joke, but you were actually going to tell a story. And so they're going to mention that again. And then you tell the second half of the joke and get to the punchline.
Yes.
Now, that kind of particularly brilliant thing relies upon another party having a wrong conception about you that you are then going to clear up with the punchline, right? I'm not comfortable in general with people sustaining wrong perceptions of me at all. Like, I don't want to bet on this thing, or I don't want to pay for whatever it is by having you perceive me badly for some stretch of time. That's what makes me think he's an ENFP. Let's see. Analysis of a word to find its true origin, properly study of the true sense of a word with logia, study of, speaking of, see logi. Etymon, true sense, original meaning, neuter of etymos, true, real, actual, related, etios, true.
I don't mean to change the subject, but I kind of found out some big news yesterday in the pop culture world.
Let's hear it.
Both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have signed on to work with the newest Spider-Man on a Spider-Man movie.
Who's Andrew Garfield?
He's the second one.
He's the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tobey Maguire, the old Spider-Man.
Yep.
And Andrew Garfield, the new Spider-Man, are both going to be in a Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, with the newest Spider-Man.
With the third Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to form a trio of Spider-Men?
I don't know.
That is really interesting.
Isn't that?
That is.
I was actually pretty excited about that. Because I didn't think that Tobey Maguire was ever going to be Spider-Man again after he got like a lot of flack.
Well, I'd like to see, okay, who is the guy who plays the Green Goblin?
Oh.
Does he have the weird face?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. I'd like to get Willem Dafoe, and who are some other Spider-Man villains?
I'd like to see Dr. Ock.
Oh yeah, that guy who, him. Who's the actor who plays him?
Anthony.
He's kind of famous too.
Frank.
I don't know, but you get that guy, and you get
Alfred Molina.
And you get Willem Dafoe, and have them be a combo villain.
What? That would be an explosion of the Spider-Man world.
Right. The Green Goblin plus Octo guy with Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina's head on top of it.
No, wait, and can they have both?
Yeah, both the heads.
No, but both Aunt May's, like the old one and the new one.
Right, let's get Marissa Tomei and the old Aunt May to be two heads on one body. Let's put on Marissa Tomei's body though, okay? Because you might as well.
She's aged.
Right, she still looks good. She's aged, but she still looks good.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina was killed in the beginning of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Alfred Molina was killed at the beginning of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was Indy's helper
Mhm.
who was doing a poor job of being an assistant because he was trying to steal the thing from Indy. Remember?
Yeah.
He got what was coming to him. You don't double cross Indiana Jones.
So yeah, that was just a little bit of news that kind of made me excited.
Let's get Marissa Tomei and Fran Drescher to play the new villain in the Spider-Man movie with the 3 Spider-Man.
Wait, is Fran Drescher going to be the villain?
Well, I want her and Marissa Tomei to combine to form a Long Island villain.
Oh my god!
What
I have to
other
look
Long
up.
Island actresses are there besides Marissa Tomei and Fran
Natalie
Drescher?
Portman.
It wants to sound like this, you know. It wants to sound New Yorky.
All right.
Marissa Tomei is too sexy to be an aunt, but she gets with Happy. Happy finally gets to be happy.
Yeah.
Because he gets to poke Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
Aunt May Beeblebrox.
I'm lost.
We're thinking of New York / Long Island accent
yeah.
female actresses.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand, we'll get her in the mix. How about Bette Midler?
Bette Midler.
Can we get Bette Midler?
She can go in there even if she's not from New York.
I smoke joints as well. Bette Midler, just something about her makes me very happy that she exists and had a career and stuff. Because this is how it went with Bette Midler. It's old school Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Everything about Bette Midler is old school Hollywood.
Yeah, she is.
She walks into the audition and she's like, "I'm here," and then like the person who's doing the audition is like, "Baby, you've got it. I can see it in your smile." You just know that's how it went down with Bette Midler.
Totally. Grass eater Hocus Pocus would scare you? I'm sorry to hear that. I showed Eric Hocus Pocus and he loved Bette Midler's job in it.
I thought you did a fantastic job. That role right there was made for Bette Midler.
Yeah, it was.
Anybody else want to toss out other New England famous New England accent actresses? I mean, not New England, New York, Long Island. New York and Long Island actresses. Let me think. Kind of Brittany, who's dead, who was in 8 Mile.
Oh, Brittany Murphy. She's from Jersey.
She's from Jersey. Okay, Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy had she sounded like a New Yorker.
Yeah, she did. And I think that's why Delilah says that I remind her of Brittany Murphy's role in Clueless because she comes from
New
Jersey and she's an accent. Yeah. I have heard before that I look like her.
I want to get all the New York lady accent famous actresses together in one movie and call it Nobody Can Understand Us.
Oh, you know who would be great? She's not as well known, but Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, you know, the manager's wife with the curly hair. Oh my gosh,
I'm not familiar with that show, really.
Okay. She's always
the secretary from Ghostbusters.
Annie Potts. You got a great list there. That's an A-list Long Island, New York, New Jersey accent.
And it's a short film. It's about 35 minutes long. They're all sitting at a table at a restaurant in New York, and they just basically say New York things to each other. Can you believe it? Oh my God!
The coleslaw here.
I don't like it either. That's what I was saying.
Oh my God.
But you know what? You come over here, you disrespect my family. That's where I draw the line. Like that. They just say shit like that for 30 minutes. All of them. All the famous New York sounding actresses get together. They maximally turn on their New York accent And they just say a bunch of random New York shit to each other for 30 minutes. George Costanza's mom? Yeah, like that. Well, if she's still alive, we'll add her in there too.
Yeah.
Eric would make the most flamboyant gay if he was.
Yeah.
I might, I guess.
Well, you are a dandy.
Yeah. Yeah, I am a dandy. This is like what a dandy looks like when they're straight. They're still not particularly straight seeming. You know, it's not like I don't have that strong silent type thing going on. When you read a child that women like the strong silent type, and you're me, you go, well, wait a second, strong? No. Silent? Absolutely not. Looks like I'm fucked. Liza Minnelli? Is Liza Minnelli still alive?
Minnelli. Yes, she is.
I want her
She's
there,
barely.
too.
Yeah. She is. No.
Do your best Liza Minnelli imitation of her saying, finally people recognize me and I feel like someone.
Okay, so I can't. She's a really tough. No, she's a really tough one for me to do. Yeah.
She's got a certain.
I can do an imitation of Kristen Wiig doing an imitation of Liza Minnelli.
Go for it.
She's like, oh, I just really gotta turn this volume up right here. Oh, I don't know if I can do it though. Oh.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Who was Liza Minnelli's mom? She was someone famous
Judy
too.
Garland.
Judy Garland. Okay.
Yeah.
Sally the Savage. I don't know who Sally the Savage is. New Yorkers in a Barrel. That's a good title, Horse Mumbler. We just get a big barrel, the size of a room, and we just put them all in it.
Mr. T, no, Jennifer Aniston's from LA. She grew up here. She had famous actor parents.
We could put Snooki in the mix too.
Snooki? Yeah.
She's from
gosh, she's so
the
great.
Jersey Shore.
She's a great example.
Isn't she extremely short?
Yeah, she is. She's 5 foot, maybe.
Mm.
But she has that puff hair. Remember?
Right. Sally Akers? I don't know who that is. I'm going to end the stream now because I'm going to watch the premiere.
Come join us.
Yeah, let me put a link to the premiere before I leave. So it's easy for everybody to go join me in the premiere if they want to. Copy. Live stream. Here's the premiere coming up in just 2 or 3 minutes. See you later.